Wake up, buy here, pay here people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here, Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Oh, good
Hello.
morning.
Is it time to do the morning show?
It's time to do the
It's
almost
time to go.
afternoon show. It's,
that's right.
Yeah, the morning almost afternoon show.
We pushed it a little bit to give our dealer friends opportunity. I postponed or put it back a little later in the morning to give our dealer guests an opportunity to participate. Unfortunately, a couple of them couldn't make it.
We
They're
do have one. Well,
And,
so we also, it was pretty short notice to ask them to come and join us. So,
we've been talking about this with our, you didn't know, we've been talking about this on our meetings, our kind of our
doing this. Yes.
Yeah. This particular session, we're kind of in a place where we're moving toward this documentary. This can sort of serve in that track, but it's like we're, our conversation today is with, we've got a dealer standing by, Joe Powell out of Oklahoma. We'll bring him in just a moment. He's here to join a conversation around customer relations, customer service. What does it look like, especially in 2026 as technology is on us, including AI? We'll talk about what that means for customer relations. So a whole big conversation. This is the first of many conversations around how we want AI and other technology to serve us and serve our customers in the coming months and years, right? So,
and we've had the conversation, excuse me, that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And we talked last week about a quote from Jeff Bezos, I think it was, that he's like, there's vertical and there's horizontal products and growth. And this is a horizontal one. This is one that's not going away. This is one that will change everything, that it will change everything. And so it's a really great opportunity to step in and work with it.
Yeah.
And
I have a quick announcement before we bring Joe in.
Okay.
I'll put it on the little tile here that says I will be in Houston on Tuesday evening. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of my dealer friends from in or near Houston. Also some of our colleagues out there. I'm looking forward to seeing Luis and Crystal from ScopeX Pros. They're in that market. And so expect to see them while I'm in town. And thanks to Chris Donnelly for extending the invitation. I'm happy to be coming out to chat about AI customer relations, and how to help dealers, in their own lives and in their business. So it'll be a good conversation, and look forward to having a beverage and a handshake with some people that I know.
You haven't seen for
a
minute. Yeah. All righty. Should we bring in our guest?
Let's do that.
Let's do that. We have with us Mr. Joel Powell. Good morning, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are y'all today?
Good so far.
Doing good so far.
Yeah, like I always say, there's still time for something to go wrong. But, if you know me, I'm really more glasses half full, whatever. It's just the way I get a rise out of people. But glad to have you here, Joe. There's, as you heard me say, I think when you were off stage there, that this is the first of what'll be many conversations around customer relations. And obviously, what's mostly prompted this is as we move, and Whiteway in particular moves toward launching our AI solution that will be a customer-facing solution, and you as a dealer and others are contemplating putting this AI agent to work on your behalf. It's a great opportunity for us to zoom out and talk about what do we want customer interaction to look like, this year and next. So why don't we start, Joe, with kind of your own perspective on customer relations? And I would ask you, for all of our conversation today, let's remember that we're broadcasting live on YouTube, which means your team, your customers can hear this. We're going to be as transparent as you can get by just talking about how we think customers ought to be treated.
Does Joe get stage fright or something?
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, it's all good.
So
it's the way transparency works. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, I'm sure there's a crowd here watching, probably 15, 18 million deep.
At least.
I mean, that number's okay. So, but here it's just the three of us, right?
Yes.
So we're just going to carry on a conversation. To me, customer communication, I just feel that we can do everything right. We can recon a car, and we can recon a car, and we can recon a car. We can put tires on it. We can put brakes on it. We can do everything in our power, and yet sometimes the car doesn't perform. Mm-hmm. And at no fault of our own, but that's just kind of the life we live in. Mm-hmm. Right. The sooner we can open that communication, the sooner we can try to be a trusted partner. Fortunately, in a previous career, I represented a product that could be very expensive, and they gave a 1-year money-back guarantee. And they said pretty simple that we don't know if this machine's going to go work or not going to go work, but it's built bulletproof. But what we do stand by is our word. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've always tried to carry that forward. I can't guarantee a car is going to run tomorrow. I've got a customer in the lobby right now. She's had her car 994 days. She's in there crying because now the motor's gone out.
Oh.
And we have to feel for those customers, and we feel for the customers that sold yesterday and the car didn't perform today. Mm-hmm. The main thing is we just have to consistently carry on the conversation that, like the company I represented, I don't know if the car is going to work or not. But all I know is I was here yesterday, I'm here today, mm-hmm. and Lord willing, I'll be here tomorrow. Right. So we've always wanted to have a customer advocate. It's always been hard to pencil it. And how do I have somebody? And how do I have somebody that can wear two hats? How can they be all company, the customer's all customer? How can I have somebody that's kind of in between consistently? So I found that your AI product was been coming for a while, and have always had an interest in that. Mm-hmm. And I've got another person that will be a backup. So we'll allow the AI customer advocate to do some of the heavy lifting. And then if we have some interactions that we need to carry on with a one-on-one situation, mm-hmm. I'm going to have a backup person that will be a part-time person that will be a customer advocate as far as sales, as far as cars, as far as service, pretty much everything. And I mean, to me, it's just a no-brainer. The price has got extremely attractive, mm-hmm. and it doesn't take a lot to pencil an ROI when it's a no-brainer. So that's kind of my thought and take on it as we go along.
So Joe has alluded to, I'll just make sure people that are listening know that Joe's alluded to the service that he's recently subscribed to. He's among our early subscribers. Mm-hmm. We, of course, extended our invitation directly to our V members mm-hmm. first, who have been with us in that program. And so we've got some dealers that are stepping in, and we're stepping now into the kind of the onboarding process. And I think, Joe, the thing that I'm excited about, and I'm eager to share with you and the other subscribers, kind of what is already baked in, if you will, to the core DNA is kind of the phrase that I didn't know 6 months to a year ago. That is kind of it's how your AI is built. And mm-hmm. obviously, when you go to build an AI and you think about building a computer, it's going to do what you ask it to do. And so you just got to paint the guardrails. You got to mm-hmm. build the foundation of what it is. And so that's what I have done, is build this sort of core DNA and it's heavy on customer relations. And it's you use the word advocacy, which mm-hmm. is really where we started, was building something that would be an advocate, almost like a liaison between you and your customer, and aimed at the success of your customer, which means success for you, right? So I think you mentioned the word trust, which I think is where we think about how do we send, in this case, we're talking about AI, but it's true with our human team, is how do we put folks in a position to represent our company, our brand, in a way that builds trust with the customer. So your thoughts on that?
There's many ways, I guess, to do that. But at the end of the day is reaching out a hand, trying to meet them where they are. There's a multitude, whether we're calling them or whether we're texting them or whatever we're trying to do. We just want to reach out as many different ways and give them an opportunity to reply. There will be a lot of people that don't reply, and we understand that. It's kind of like reviews. If I don't ask for reviews, I'm only going to get the 1 stars and the 2 stars that we all get. It's not that we knowingly did something wrong. It's, sometimes a car didn't perform. Sometimes the payment is a little higher after they've lost a job or whatever. But it's trying to reach out a hand, give them a chance to respond. If they take it, outstanding. If they don't, then we'll move on and let some AI assist us in the heavy lifting and talk to those that are willing to talk. We want to use it on our sales side, on our collection side. We want to use it on our service side. And we also want to use it on our leads that are coming in that basically says, hey, I'm a neutral party. Have you been treated with honesty, dignity, and respect? And if, we'll make a mistake. AI will make a mistake, but I'm not perfect. I don't expect that to be perfect. And I can lay my head on my pillow at night knowing that I did everything in my power to do the best that we could possibly be.
Good.
A little bit earlier, you mentioned penciling something in. And so cost, we recognize cost is a big factor to dealers because they're already running pretty tight ships. And, to add someone on to their team that can do a full-time job, never take a day off, always show up with a set attitude and, is like fresh each time. That is a pretty high value. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And you mentioned too that you hired someone part-time because this advocacy is something that I'm hearing is you're seeing a huge benefit that can weave into all different aspects of your business. And we right now our set point is only as an advocate, and it's just solely communications. We're not doing collections right now. We're not doing sales and BDC and all that right now. But this is just about setting this communication. And I, one thing I want to know from you, because I know that you're having those relationships is important because you've already done different things to be able to ensure that. But have you had a system in your dealership where you're reaching out to people on a time, like a quarterly basis or a monthly, just to keep that communication going? And well, first off, have you done that?
To a certain degree, yes. I think a lot of CRMs, you can program those action plans. They have moments every 3 months. But a lot of it is asking how we did, and by the way, could I get a referral?
Yeah.
So you want to sometimes reach out with no strings attached. I'm not asking for a referral. I'm just asking, have we treated with you honesty, dignity, and respect? And are we fulfilling your expectations? What I mean? A lot of times we have our expectations, and that's okay. But guess what? The customer has their expectations as well. And those could be on total different ends of the spectrum. So we just want to make sure that if we're not fulfilling their expectations and they might not be fulfilling ours, how do we end up in the middle here somewhere so that it works for you, but also it works for us?
I think this word comes to mind, communication, just making sure we know and we hear from them and they hear from us. And I think one of the things I think about, Joe, I first started working in a customer facing business somewhere around 1984, a long time ago.
Wow, you're old.
Yeah, I know. Can't you tell? Yeah. And
he married young.
I was a partner. That's right. I was a partner in a business when I was 24 years old. And so I've been around the customer relations thing for a long time. And most of what what is formed for me in terms of how to handle customers is, all of that time, even before that, I was a customer, right? We all know how we want to be treated as a customer. And so I think we can look through that lens. And if we have time here, I'll tell a story about my own recent kind of bad service experience that kind of highlighted.
Everyone has one. We were talking with some friends, and it's just like their bad experience came, boom, and it was a very impassioned story. And everybody has them, right? And it seems to me that our customer base is in a position where a lot of times they don't have a choice. And, they don't have a choice about getting the best deal or whatever that someone with good credit would be out looking for. And I love that you keep dignity and respect, because humans, I think that's just a right of being treated with dignity and respect. And we all flub up. We all make mistakes, like you said, and this is I really appreciate that your core sounds like it's like, we're human, we're here to work with you. We want to make sure that you are seen as not a contract, but as a person who has experiences, and we want this to be a good experience for you.
Yeah. And I think for me, Joe, as somebody who's a former salesperson and sales manager and dealer, I also think about one of the ways we can build trust is I would just say, just show up to reinforce. So what I mean by that is, it's one thing if you're buying a car from me, Joe, it's one thing on the day you're buying the car, I say to you, hey, we'll be here. We want you to be happy. We want you to be, pleased with your experience. It's one thing to say that on the day that you're buying the car, because I'm trying to close the sale, right? The question becomes, what'll I say 3 days after you bought the car? You're already in the car now. Am I still really there? I said on the day I bought the car was purchased that I would be there. And so I think one of the ways we build trust, and Michelle and I call that generally trust deposits, is by showing up to show the customer that we mean what we say. That's one of the things that we can do. And that's where we think advocacy can step in and kind of create that thread that says, we're still here. We're still interested in your success.
Oh, definitely. I do think that, Michelle alluded to the fact that our customer base might not have a lot of options, but I disagree in a little bit. There's people doing what we do all the way up and down the street. And if I don't take care of this customer, and I talk to staff continuously about, I sign your paychecks, but guess what? Our customers are the one that pays your paychecks. If we don't take care of those customers, I don't have paychecks to sign.
Right.
So it's, I think they do have a lot of options. They will drop a car off at one dealer in the morning, and they'll have a car before dinner. You know what I mean? Whether that's here or somewhere else, and they might drive 50 miles to do it, but they're a very resourceful customer base. They have a way to find transportation, and we have to take care of our customers. And I feel like most people do. I'm just glad that we'll be able to reach out a little bit more regularly than a action plan and a CRM once every 3 or 4 months, 6 months, whatever that number might be.
Sure.
And continuously, we know the old saying, sometimes you have to ask people 7 times before they respond or whatever. Well, maybe I have to send them or call them multiple times before they open up and believe that maybe I do want to know the real underlying story. Are you okay? Are you happy? And move forward. But
yeah, there's something about that in tone too, Joe, because you talk about the CRM and the automated messages. We all know that it's hard to get tone in text. I mean, text gets misinterpreted all the time. And even if it has good intentions, as humans, we're trained to pick up on tone, and we can perceive whether or not the offer is genuine. And so I think this has been the thing that we've accepted on moving toward the AI side, is we're very much aimed at the voice side of AI, the actual voice interaction, outbound and inbound. And we'll be starting primarily with outbound. But the idea is for customers to hear that what's embedded in that AI is some degree of genuine caring. Now, it sounds strange because we know we're talking about computers and that, but I think we recognized early on, certainly Michelle and I, as we worked through the AI voice interaction, that there's quite a lot there. So what we had to do was just basically go in and paint the foundation and the guardrails of kind of how we wanted to conduct business as an AI agent. And so there's things we're working through, and that's why the quick mention of the documentary. You guys have been good to agree to participate with us in a sort of a public documentary where we document the process that we're going through, imperfect though it may be, as we march through this business of rolling out the AI, because we want feedback. We're going to get public feedback. We want to hear from folks as we take this solution to market, because we believe it's that important. We need to hear from the dealers who are living it, the dealers who are speaking to customers, week in and week out. Let's talk to them and make sure that whatever we're putting out there to work with dealers' customers, that it satisfies the thing. So if you'll indulge me just a minute, I'm going to read you some highlights. So I mentioned earlier the core DNA, of the AI that we chose. So I want your feedback on any of these points that come to mind. And I don't know if you got a chance to see it, Michelle. This may be, you've seen the core DNA, but these 12 highlights, what I did is ran our core DNA through Claude. And I said, sweep that and give me 12 highlights of things that you feel like are representative of the core DNA.
And this is the core DNA. The things that Jim has put together for the core DNA has been hours and hours and hours and days of answering questions and refining and all of that. So this is, it's sweeping a lot of information, and this is the synopsis of what it says that it is.
And it may help to Joe and others who are listening to know that when I was doing that work, we were working with ChatGPT at the outset, and it had access to all of our archives, all of the stuff that we've done with White Hat Wednesday broadcasts since way back. So it has access to all that information. So it grasps in a pretty comprehensive way what White Hat Way is and what it's meant to represent. So let me just kind of read to you. I'm just going to give you the bullet list. So this AI advocate this week, you've heard it referred to as a couple different things. It's an AI customer advocate, AICA, and then in our website we refer to it as early warning. So it's the idea there is that it's described as early warning because its real objective here is to communicate with customers, identify potential issues, and report back to the human team. So here we go. Number one, we're advocates, not enforcers. Okay, so in the advocate role, we're not there to enforce payments. We're not there to enforce service contract, anything. We're there to be advocates and communicate and improve a layer of communication. Safety before solutions. Okay, so that means safety in a conversation. Can I feel safe talking to you, right? Are we in a safe environment? Warm without walls. So this one would require a little bit of explanation, but we have chosen, Joe, to lean into a kind of banking on my own experience as a coach across the years and working with a lot of collection teams. We're really choosing to have the default mode tone be maternal. Okay, so you can conclude from that what you will, but I have chosen to be warm and maternal. And of course, it'll be consistent in that, but that's what we've chosen. Number 4, trust over transactions. Number 5 is long-minded by design, which it's kind of the way that I've described to you, Joe, and some of the others. Is like this thing is meant to speak to your customers in a way that it expects the customer is going to be with you for many years. Okay, so that's part of that. And then number 6 is dignity in every direction. So you've touched on dignity before you knew that was baked into this. Clarity without pressure. Then number 8, permission before progress. So that's something else that ChatGPT walked me through, is how do we want to interact with customers at this level, and that is getting the customer's permission. Do you have time? Am I catching you at a time when you have time to do this? Can I get your okay to do such and such? So permission becomes important, and another way to earn trust. Number 9, calm in the hard moments. this is where AI, I think we will see that AI is better than humans in that we're able to remain calm. AI doesn't have emotion in the same way. And so when we build that right, that means that we will have the appropriate amount of emotion and caring and compassion to show up and show interest, but we don't have to bring emotion of, the conversation I had before into the next conversation.
Or the fight you had before you got to work.
Yeah. Too. Yeah. The whole thing that bleeds into the human thing, right? Just basic human experience. Number 10, boundaries held with care. Number 11, coded for the long game. And number 12, human first, always. So really, there's a lot of things there. And obviously, there's a lot of depth to understand. We don't have time to go into all that today. But it's really just meant to highlight for you and others how much effort has gone into building this foundation of this AI persona. And obviously, what I just described there, you would want that in your sales team, you would want that in your collection team. And obviously, our expectation is that our AI will move there. But for right now, we've aimed very squarely at the customer advocacy side, which means it will be primarily, in your case, working with the customers who are current. In fact, it will only work with the customers who are current, and it will just work to do check-ins and all the things that we've worked to do. But I think we really less than about our AI and our solution. It's more about how do we collaborate with you, Joe, as a dealer, your DMS provider, those folks they're integrated with. How do we work together to make sure that we create an experience? Because I'm just telling you, friend, this thing will scale nicely. It will be able to work in your dealership at the same time it's working in, Matt's dealership in Florida or wherever else the case may be. And that just means we have a chance to have a really profound impact here. And we should do that collaboratively. We should work together to make sure it is representing us in the way that we want it to represent us. And the thing I've said to these dealers, Michelle, that have been adopting with us, I said, we know it's going to sound right because we're not going to release it, Joe, until you and I agree that it sounds right. That it doesn't sound like a computer, right? And we know that exists. In our case, we have the good fortune. We're not building from scratch. We're working with partners who have already developed solutions in this area. So we don't have to completely build the thing from the ground up. We have a lot of pieces there. Yeah. So now it's just a question of adjusting the knobs, right? Obviously, there'll be some customization for you, but I just love the idea that an AI agent can show up for work every day of the week, can eventually be available for after hours calls. It can speak every language on the planet. It's like it's a really nice solution for dealers.
Well, and AI, what one of the other aims that we have is that AI is not singularly viewed as a tool. It's a team member. It's an integral part of all of the pieces that are moving within your dealership, and it's a trusted team member because you alluded to too, like they're gonna show up, they're gonna have a good attitude, they're not gonna bring in the last. And with the experience that I haven't worked in a dealership, but I've worked customer service. I've managed teams in some fields where it can get pretty heated if there's something that is a perceived problem. And so, and you understand when we have a team member, that it's the value of being able to be that person on the front line that's taking that's keeping that communication open. It's not something that is draining from the rest of the team. It's actually alleviating a lot from the rest of the team. And that communication now becomes really threaded into everything that you do, where just you have those little points of trust, and it just spreads through the rest of it. So we're looking forward to as this gets developed, and this is the stage one. And we keep talking about, it's like, this is White Hat Way Maria 101.
Yeah. That's right.
And there'll be a 201 and a 301 and a 307, and and as we continue to grow, and I'm just it's really an exciting proposition of what the future is holding for dealers and other business people too, just in what AI can do, how it can become a team member instead of just a tool.
Yeah, I have another question for you, Joe, but before I go there, thoughts on what Michelle just shared? Anything to add to that?
No, I second everything she said.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Staff, we all take care of the customer when they come in, but a lot of times the customer is just burnt, they're done, they're out by the time we find out what's going on. So my hope and goal, and it was alluded to earlier, early in the process. So if something's going on early in the process, I want to find out before the customer turns sour. You know what I mean? And if there's anything we can do to save an account early in the process, that's what we're here for. That's our goal. Our customers deserve it. They pay our paycheck. So if we can help them early before they get in a bad way, hopefully we save an account a week, a month, a year. It doesn't matter. If we save one account, it's well worth it.
Good. Yeah, I think we're talking about saving accounts, and we think the regular check-ins and touch points with the AI side will have a chance to help with that. I think in addition to saving accounts, we have a chance to just build on the relationship that is there. So that is bound to translate into referrals and good customer satisfaction and all the things.
Repeats.
So, yeah. So I think, Joe, obviously you're an adopter, you're on board with the idea of implementing AI in your business. But as you considered this, I had a chance to ask the other dealers, and I can share with what they said. But my question of you is, when it comes to AI, like, what are the concerns, either for you or what do you hear?
I mean, what we all hear is, I just want to talk to a live person.
Right.
That's what we all hear.
Sure.
I have a AI, we have used AI for 30 years, right? It's just a little different now. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that, press 2 for this. That was AI, right? It was a machine helping to route a call to where it needed to get. We have evolved to, I have a young lady that answers our phone. She's maternal. Her name's Tony, and she can talk to you. She can answer. She shows up every day. She can route those calls a little bit different than pressing 1. So it's just the next generation. Like you said, AI 1. I think we're in smart learning. We're way down the road now. So I don't have a lot of concerns. I just think it's more interactive now than it's ever been. So
I think the thing that I hear, and I didn't get a chance to pull it together, but months ago I did a poll in the BHPH Success Group and asked, how do you feel about AI? Are you interested in putting it to work in your business? And so there's some feedback I can bring back to that. But there was, I want to say, in the range of 2/3 of the people who responded said, yes, I have interest. Doesn't mean they don't also have concerns. We didn't go that far. But I think as we talk about this part, one of the things that I'm hearing is just the thing that at least when you think about the persona and voice, is one of the concerns is it going to sound like a robot, right? That's kind of the thing, is that's if it sounds like a robot, then I don't think I'd be advocating for it myself.
Well,
right?
Is that when you said, I just want to talk to you human, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Why is it that I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to a human. And sometimes it's because they can answer the question, but other times I've, especially with older folks, they just get frustrated because there's just not a natural cadence to having a conversation. It's just very sterile. And it's obviously a machine that you're talking to. And I love how things have developed so much today, where you can have a conversation with an AI and have like a full-blown conversation, as in, oh, you see me, You get me. Yeah. And that's, everyone wants to feel like they are understood when there's a thing or when, whatever it is that's happening.
Sure. And I think in fairness, to separate, I think we all want to talk to a person when there's an issue. Like when we've got a problem and we're trying to get a problem solved, we definitely want to talk to a person who can solve the problem. So I think it's important to separate that from the kind of touch points that we're going to have with this AI customer advocate. Is they're not necessarily going to be interacting at a time there's an issue. We're just simply...
Or they can say, hey, there's an issue. Let me get you in touch with so-and-so.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we'll be working through that. That's part of what it's there to do, is identify the stuff. But even then, it's you heard in the thing, it's not there to solve the problem. Yeah. It's there to identify the problem, speak to the customer, extract that information, and work to make sure
and
that
over
we do
time,
two things.
They will be able to.
Right. One of the things we're working with now, Joe, is that it will be able to report to you as the dealer principal or whoever you designate that this customer reported an issue or question or concern. And then it will ask, would you like me to follow up in a couple of days to verify that the issue was resolved? So this is the follow through thing for me has always been a big thing in training, is how to build on trust and just to make sure. So again, I get permission. Would you like me to check with you a couple of days to verify that you got your answers? So this is an example of where we can, when we leverage it wisely, we can certainly put computers to work for our benefit. And the best case scenario, Joe, is it does all of those jobs really well. It frees up our human team to be able to do the things that humans do so well. And it's going to free you up as a dealer principal to be able to go do the things you enjoy and to have less engagement in that way. So this is always part of the objective for Michelle and me, is helping dealers be able to get their business positioned in a way that it works well without them having to be in the building every day. And we know that AI can be a really vital part of that solution. So it's all good. I think, for today, Joe, we covered the parts that I wanted to get to. Like I said, this is the first of what'll be many conversations around what engagement of tomorrow should look like. But any thoughts to add before we go?
There at the end, you pretty much said what I like to say to staff is this is a way to assist us to be better. We're not trying to, I'm hoping that with a AI customer advocate, I have fewer upset customers at my current staff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't want my current staff. And a lot of times I have to call customers back on behalf of my staff because, Mr. Miss Customer, we had an interaction yesterday that wasn't so well. And if I can eliminate those bad interactions between a customer and my staff, I'm trying to protect them. I'm trying to make their job easier. I'm trying to make their life easier. I'm trying to make their time at work more enjoyable. So if we can solve problems, it's kind of like working on a car, right? If the thermostat's bad in the car, let's change the thermostat. Let's don't wait until the entire engine's blown. So if we can change the thermostat with our customers early on and not have to replace the motor later on, and it makes their job easier. And, because I led with beginning, I can't guarantee if this car's going to work tomorrow or not.
Sure.
But I can guarantee if we have a little issue, let's take care of the little issue and move on down the road. And it'll make their job so much more pleasant, I hope.
Yeah.
Right. Good.
Yeah. I love that.
I love where you started with, we're going to be here. If the machine fails, we're going to be here. So that's the part. And we're going to bring the same attitude and long range outlook that we bring to customer relations all the time, because it's obviously your interest as a dealer in seeing your customers happy and saying good things about you and your community and coming back to buy again and again, referring friends and family. That's obviously and the smaller your market is, the more true that is, right? So it's like we know that's a problem to be solved, and it's an opportunity for all of us to work together to make sure we code these quote machines to do the job the way that we want it done. So that's what the work's about, Joe. We appreciate you making time to to be here, and we look forward to, again, one last reminder, I'll be in Houston on Tuesday night. Look forward to seeing some of you down there.
Yeah.
I'll be reaching out to some of you, say, please come have a beverage and a
and a chat.
And a chat with me. I'd love to see you.
Hey, Joe, thank you again so much. And this whole process is going to be very transparent. We are confident that we have a solution that is really going to move the needle for dealers, and we're excited about making it transparent, and we're excited about having you part of that process. And again, want to thank you for stepping in with what it is that's being built.
Perfect. Appreciate you having me, and I look forward to working with a customer advocacy, and I look forward to having a customer advocacy in my business. And I think it can only be a blessing.
Right. We'll make sure that it is.
Well, we're going to put you backstage. If you'll stick around for just a minute so we can say a proper goodbye after we've closed out the podcast. And again, thank you so much, Joe, for joining. All righty. I'm excited that, it's going to be, there's very rarely do you see this level of transparency about something that everyone is talking about.
Yeah.
And that's part of what I think is that, White Hat Way is all about transparency, and let's let people see this process, and let's let people know what it is that they're going to be experiencing. And so I love this.
Yeah.
This
some of the benefit too, I can share, is one of the dealers who signed early said, he asked, is this agent going to sound like what the one sounded like when you had a conversation on your podcast? And I said, well, let's make sure that it is. Like, in the end, it's not going to, it's not going to arrive at work through the same exact channels, but let's just make sure that it is.
There is the distinct possibility it will be better.
Yeah.
Too.
And I just think that there are a lot of people, we meet them in our industry and outside, that they have concerns about what that looks like. And I think I understand where that comes from. And I would say, if you'll take time to listen to what the you'll start to get excited and not nervous.
Yeah. So, I think more and more people are just getting excited about the possibility as we see most of the vendors out there are talking about it. And so everyone's being, there's opportunities there in every aspect of your business to be able to improve and all of that. Hey, everybody, thanks again for joining us today. We really appreciate your time, and looking forward to the future. And if there's anything that we can help with, feel free to reach out. Jim at White Hat Way, Michelle at White Hat Way, and let's see how we might be able to collaborate, do some fun things together.
Folks.
All right, have a great day.